Ullman, sir. Security officer.
Hauptmann Ullman? I understand the commandant is with General Schätze.
Yes, sir.
So this is Colditz. What's that?
It seems to be coming from the British borders, sir.
I'm sorry for the delay. The General was discussing this report, the recent escapes. You better have a copy.
Thank you, sir.
Well, let's have a drink. What would you like, Mohn?
Nothing for me, thank you, sir.
Too early for you?
No, I used to drink, but I can't anymore. I have to keep to a rather tiresomely restricted diet as well.
Ah, yes, of course. Your wounds.
Yes, sir. I do not have as much left of my stomach as most people.
Your wound from Stalingrad?
Yes, sir.
Please sit down here. Well, how did it happen?
My unit was cut off after an attack, sir. We held out for 72 hours, and then as we could not be in a worse position, I decided to counterattack. We took them by surprise, and they fell back. But then in a hand-to-hand combat...
It's a pity that such bravery could not save us from a catastrophic defeat.
With respect, sir, the German army was not defeated at Stalingrad. It was betrayed by its own commander-in-chief.
Yes, quite. But he was in an appalling dilemma. However, is that when you won your Knight's Cross with oak leaves?
Yes, sir. I was flown out on one of the last planes to leave. And the Führer did me the great honor of visiting me in hospital to bestow the decoration.
You've met the Führer?
Yes, sir. It was a great privilege.
Yes, indeed.
Sir, I will read the report, and then, just to put myself in the picture, I wonder if I might question the prisoner. In Ullman's presence, of course. I do not wish to interfere in any way, but if I can help at all.
Yes, of course, Mohn. By all means.
Lieutenant Player. Major Mohn, now second in command. He was interested to meet you.
Lieutenant Player? Do, please, sit down. I understand you were a submariner.
Yes, I still am.
Did you operate in the Mediterranean?
I don't have to answer that question.
I knew the area quite well at one time. I was with the parachute brigade that captured Crete.
I gather they were never quite the same again.
We suffered heavy losses before the British surrendered. Yes. You get all the news here in Colditz? You know then by now that your friends Carrington and Grant have reached safety. Ah, I see you did not. Yes, Switzerland first. And they're probably celebrating in London, my lord.
Is that where you got all those gongs, Crete?
Gongs? Ah, yes, this one in Crete. This one, Belgium, 1940, and the Knight's Cross with oak leaves in Stalingrad. Your friend, Pilot Officer Muir, is much better, by the way, although his memory is affected.
I spoke to him just before he passed out. He was all right then.
Perhaps he struck his head when he fell, A blow on the head can do strange things.
Does he know who he is?
No. Oh, yes. Yes, but when asked about the escape, he told some absurd story about climbing down a rope made from sheets and scaling a wall. Whereas we know from you, Mr. Blair, that you both hid in the exercise park. But I wonder why the NCO in charge of the exercise party of that day is so certain that both you and Mr. Muir left the exercise park and returned to the castle. He claims to remember because he says you and Mr. Muir were deep in conversation with Captain Grant, and he had to summon you when it was time for you to go.
Oh, that must have been another day.
And Mr. Muir's rope down which Lieutenant Blair climbed first, and I followed?
As you say, his memory is affected.
Oh, come now, Mr. Blair. We all know what you've been doing. 4 of you escaped and you didn't want to give anything away. All right. But the whole thing is over now. 2 of you have escaped and 2 of you have been recaptured. The position is different now. Now you can tell us what really happened.
We hid in the exercise park. The count was faked when it was dark.
Don't waste your breath.
Why?
We have certain evidence as to the means of escape. Your statement conflicts with that evidence. What we want to establish now is whether you intend to go online. A British officer who is a proven liar must expect to be treated accordingly.
You've asked for my version of the escape and I've given it to you.
With all the monotony of a broken record. And with the grace of a sulky schoolboy. This man is taking advantage of the considerate treatment being extended to him. Thank you, Mohn. Oh, I understand you were an insurance agent before the war.
I did work for an insurance company, yes, sir. That is Captain Sheldon.
Sheldon? And did you enjoy selling insurance?
It gave me a profound respect for statistical probabilities, sir. May I give you an example?
Yes, please do.
That is Captain Brent. There are now several hundred prisoners of various nationalities in Colditz. Most of them bent on escape. Our staff is limited. At any one time, the maximum number of guards on duty is 29. The ratio speaks for itself.
Does it? How?
The prisoners believe that everything is on our side. In fact, taking everything into account, I would say the odds are slightly in their favor.
You ignore two facts, Ullman. They are defeated, and the guards are German. But you make an interesting point, Ullman.
Where'd you find it?
That is Flight Lieutenant Carter.
One of those terror flyers.
I believe he flew Wellington bombers, sir.
Mail from home?
Yes.
Don't get up.
I wasn't going to.
Who from? Your parents?
No, my wife.
Were you wounded when you were shot down?
No. I fell downstairs.
Not one of Britain's heroes, I gather.
Ullman, scramble.
These are the British quarters, sir.
At ease, gentlemen. Anything we can do to help?
No, Mr. Downing. Major Mohn, second in command, is inspecting the castle. Captain Downing, sir.
Take a good look, Major. Some of us may not be here very long.
When were you taken prisoner, Captain?
40.
Where?
Belgian border.
My unit may have had the pleasure of accepting your surrender. You were all very anxious to give yourselves up at one time. We accommodated you then. We shall be only too happy to go on accommodating you now.
Come in.
Colonel? This is our new second in command.
Mohn.
Preston. How do you do?
Colonel? Well, you appear to be reasonably comfortable, Colonel.
It serves.
And your men seem to be in a cheerful mood, celebrating the escape of their colleagues.
Possibly, yes.
Do you believe it is the duty of a prisoner of war to attempt to escape?
Possibly.
You could order them not to escape.
Could I?
The purpose behind escaping is only partly to achieve freedom. It is also to harass the enemy, to tie down civil and military forces which would be better employed in conducting the war elsewhere. Would you agree?
Yes.
The logic behind escape attempts is the war is still going on here in Colditz. I have no objection to that. I'm a soldier. War is my business. But it is a business, Colonel, not a sport. The prisoner who is prepared to sit it out quietly will receive the treatment dictated by ordinary humanity. But the prisoner who attempts or even thinks of escaping becomes the enemy again at once. Those are my views, Colonel Preston.
They are completely clear.
Oh, the soldier who wounded Pilot Officer Muir was not shooting to kill. On that occasion, his orders were otherwise. Your men may be less pleased about their friends Carrington and Garn when they discover that nothing will ever be quite the same again. Colonel? All right, carry on. Is this the incoming mail for the British prisoners?
Yes, sir. They have been censored, sir. The routine now is that they are resealed and handed to the British canteen officer for distribution.
The routine is changed. In future, I will examine all mail after it has been censored.
Yes, sir.
What's so fascinating?
Nothing, Mr. Carter. Read your letters from Kathy.
Good morning, sir.
All right, carry on.
Sir, there is a passage in an outgoing letter written by Flight Lieutenant Carter, which I should draw to your attention.
Well? Read it.
One thing, darling. I love the sweet things you write to me, but they are very personal. Our letters are always censored, of course, but now I have the feeling they are being read by someone else. Someone who has no right to look at them. And if this is so...
Erase the entire passage.
Yes, sir.
I would just like to know your thinking. There may be some adverse reaction.
Naturally, sir, the prisoners won't like it.
I was thinking of the protecting power.
Are not the Swiss neutral in name only, sir? They harbor escaping prisoners, and there can be no doubt that these parcels are designed to assist escape attempts.
But the same Red Cross parcels go to German prisoners of war in England.
Can we be sure, sir? No German has ever escaped from the British prisoner of war camp, with one exception early in the war, whereas many British prisoners have escaped. Therefore, it follows that the Swiss must be allowing through in these parcels to the British materials which they withhold from the Germans.
But it's more difficult for our men. England is an island, and there are none of these millions of foreign workers that we have to provide cover for escapers.
Sir, may I ask if you feel I have exceeded my authority as your second in command?
No, certainly not, Mohn.
Then with your permission, sir, I will see that my orders are implemented.
Yes, very well.
Sir. Oh, I thought all the British officers were in the exercise park.
Mr. Carter is excused, sir. He cannot march properly yet.
Poor fellow. Well, never mind. You carry on. Mr. Carter won't mind, will you, Mr. Carter?
What's all this in, Adolf?
Just a spot check, Mr. Carter. Don't let us disturb you. You'll finish your letter.
Would you like to read it now or later?
Neither for preference.
Just doing your duty.
Exactly.
That's good. Some fellas might get a kick out of it. Like peeking through keyholes.
What a strange thought to occur to a man. Almost as strange as the idea that the outpourings of a semi-literate are worth peeping at.
I think you enjoy it.
Impertinence like that can get you solitary confinement, Mr. Carter.
I think you enjoy doing your duty. What's impertinent about that?
I'm sorry your ankle is taking so long to recover. I was more fortunate. I was bayoneted in the stomach by a Russian before I killed him, but happily I was on my feet again within a few weeks. Perhaps your injury is more serious. Oh, shall I ask one of the guards to help you?
You know what you and your guards can do?
Or perhaps you're behaving like a girl, Mr. Carter. Just as you write. Like a girl.
Sit down, Mohn. Sit down.
Thank you, sir.
As you know, General Schetzel is visiting us briefly this afternoon. He's bound to ask about you. I thought we'd have a chat first. How do you feel you're settling in?
Quite well, sir.
Yes, things have been tightened up, and that's excellent, of course. Still, just as well to review the steps we have taken. This random check on the mail, for example.
Censors work to a routine, sir. After a while, they tend to miss things. The knowledge that I'm checking on the mail has led to increased efficiency.
Yes, I'm sure. There has been a complaint, of course.
From Lieutenant Carter, sir.
I wasn't given a particular name. But that's not all. I merely thought that since we're opening the Red Cross parcels as well, whether the irritation being caused was entirely worth it.
Sir, may I speak frankly?
Of course. That's why I asked you to come and see me.
When it came to the Führer's notice that 4 British officers had escaped from Colditz.
He was informed, personally.
Oh, yes.
How do you know?
I was there. I had the honor to serve briefly on his personal staff, until I accepted this appointment, in fact.
I see.
The Führer's first reaction was that for each British officer who escaped, 2 more should be executed.
But that would be entirely contrary to the Geneva Convention.
Germany did not sign the Geneva Convention, sir.
No, that is so, but the Wehrmacht abides by it. And one must presume that is with the Führer's consent.
Just the same, we are not bound by it, and the Führer's consent may be withdrawn at any time. As it happens, he was advised that reprisals might lead to counter-reprisals against German prisoners in Allied hands. So he merely ordered that no further escapes should take place.
Very wise. Might I inquire whether the Führer sought your opinion?
Yes, sir. The subject was being discussed after dinner one night, and he asked me what I thought.
And what was your view?
I said that if the prisoners could be made to understand that we should no longer treat them with kid gloves, that if, for example, we were forced to fire, that we should shoot to kill, then presumably such summary executions would no longer be necessary.
And what was the Führer's reaction?
He was kind enough to say that as a fighting soldier, my compassionate suggestions should be treated with respect. He's a great man, sir. He's a wonderful man.
Come on, let's speed it up a bit. Tim, here. Dick, here.
May I see? A cricket ball?
Yeah.
It's heavier than I imagined. Also harder. Is it you to throw, Mr. Carter?
That's right.
Bad luck, Mr. Carter. morning, Mr. Carter. Still no improvement?
No, it's going to take a long time.
It's too bad. You should avoid strenuous games.
Yes, I'm going to devote myself to chess in future.
Really? Do you play chess?
A bit.
I reached the national finals in Berlin just before the war. We must have a game sometime.
Good idea. I just might beat you.
I doubt that, Mr. Carter. Still, we'll see.
That's right. We'll see.